What's up, YouTube? It's Braid here. I'm gonna deck profile in this here expensive-ish deck. But yeah, so it's so expensive that we had to sell our playmats. Look at this playmat. It's beautiful.
It's pretty good.
So I'm running the starter Judge Bow because you need the soul in this deck, and Judge Bow is a good card. It gives you pressure. You know, I'm sure you guys have heard a lot about Judge Bow and Shadow Paladin decks, so I won't go into him too much. Standard trigger lineup for the most part. It's got some crits and heals and some more crits. 10 crits. 2 draw. How AWA specifically? Because you need to shove them into your soul sometimes. If you want to use, you know, PvD skill, but I'll get back into that later. So, for Revenger names for your grade 1s, we're running 4 Masquerades because you don't really need Dorant because you have Karma Collector, or so the theory is. But yeah, in testing it does work out that way too, though, where Karma Collector is your unflipper. And then 4 Charon. 4 Charon for the sacking of PBD, sacking of Diablo, sacking of Orgeyser. Since you don't run David, you want to maximize your chances, and it can search your Diablo out. 4 Karma Collectors, your unflip engine, because you don't run the Blast of Dark Dorant. That's basically the only reason why he's the chosen perfect guard. So you don't have to use space in your main board. 1 Dark Bond and 1 Dark Heart. Just to get more Revengers out, awkwardly calling crit triggers. But you can send your Judge Bells back through Legion and stuff. So there's that. Or if, you know, you're playing against Gear Chronicle, they send back your Judge Bell and you're just like, Dark Bond or Dark Heart. It's great. But yeah, Dark Heart likes to call stuff like Charon, or just the Revenger names you might need. And it does help in the mirror match to get you a board. So that's always great. And combos well with mana. Grade 2s, 4 Legion mates, 4
The
Abyss.
Judge Bow killer, you mean?
Yeah, the Judge Bow killer. Literally, the mirror match is just call, snipe, Judge Bow, or David. 4 Mac Arts. It gets you rear guards.
Sacking David all day.
He's kind of iffy in most decks, honestly. I prefer
That's
mana or just running Blasted Dark Revenger and not even running him. Because you get so much superior calls in this deck anyway, you rarely really need this guy, and he calls it rested, so it doesn't hit for as good numbers. 3 Makas. She's great for the mirror match or just netting you advantage in general because she can call any grade 1 from your deck, which can set up for the Diablo plays, Abyss plays, just spamming your board plays. She's just an amazing card for the deck. Grade 3s. 4 grade 3 Abysses because he's more or less your major win condition supposedly in this build. But it's, yeah, basically it's between him and Diablo. That's usually your finishers for the deck. And it's supposed to combo well with this here PBD, but in all my testing I've been doing, I've only been able to use this skill like twice, but one of the times was just not even worth doing, but I literally had to push. Yeah, basically, if you don't know what he does already, is when you break ride, you Soul Blast 3 as cost, and give your Vanguard plus 10,000 on the auto skill of sacking 3 rear guards. On attack, you draw 2 cards, and it gains the ability where your opponent can only guard with zeros.
And you unflip 3 damage.
Oh, and you unflip 3 damage, which is nice. But yeah, so basically that's this entire skill. Oh, and then there's this other skill actually. On ride, you can stack a unit to search any blaster. So typically you'll be more or less searching one of your 2 other grade 3s, the Blast Dark Diablo or the Abyss. So, you know, if you just search Abyss, you're guaranteed to have set up for break ride into the Legion play. But the amount of times where if you get stuck on him, he is absolutely terrible to get stuck on. You really have to be careful with your soul because of things like Darkheart and Orgeyser. You really have to be careful. And because Judge Bow, especially in the mirror match, because the mirror match is very common, you can't even rely on Judge Bow hitting your soul half of the time. So it's just, you're stuck trying to Howl Owl your soul in, or doing some really weird re-rides. and it's just really not worth the effort, where you could just go into Blaster Dark Diablo or Abyss and just be set up, because they're a lot more efficient to go into. And plus, in the mirror match, this going through this entire skill is a sack 5, which means literally if they survive that and have enough cards, you're dead to Diablo. There's literally no surviving at that point, unless you just miracle heal that many times, but it's really awkward. Yeah, it's just not worth going into, because you have to put them to kill range, and it doesn't get like inherent crits or anything. So you're really gonna have to drive check a crit on the first to get the most value out of it, but they can still hit damage triggers if they're not at 5 already. So yeah, it's just really not worth the struggle of playing through all of these things when you can just be running the Blaster Dark Diablos, or just Abyss, just being on him. Even Mordred. Honestly, I think Mordred's a better thing to sit on than him. Because at least when you break guard with Mordred, you don't have to worry about soul. You get a free rear guard. He's a Revenger name, so all your other Revenger support go off. Yeah, that's also another awkward thing. He's not a Revenger. Or just because you can't use
Revenger, so you can't
any
use
of like Blaster Darks really with him. So, I mean, you can't do the same with him, but his G-Break 2 and his on-stride make up for it, because you're striding so often and you still kill a rear guard. So, yeah. But the one Blaster Dark Diablo is there because for the mirror match, he is literally the life savior of this deck.
And also it's searchable.
It's great for other matchups too, just sniping units, but it's also searchable off of Charon. Charon likes to get that early game, and this is honestly my favorite go-to stride, because you can just go into Orgeyser and then go to G-Break 2 and you can immediately just start doing nutty Diablo plays. But yeah, that's why he's in there, which is why he's the main focus of my other build. And then we'll just go to the G zone now. We're running, of course, 4 Diablos, all stuck together. I finally got them all hollowed out. It's very self-explanatory. Every single Shadow Paladin deck and Extreme Fight deck honestly should be running this card, because he just wins games so hard. And then I run 2 Orgeysers just like my other decks. Orgeyser is great, lets you dig into your deck. It basically is a +1. It's just,
and you get 5 cards.
Yeah, well, yeah, on the turn you're going into this play, you get 5 cards in your hand, or more if you drive trigger draws. But yeah, that's the issue, like I was mentioning earlier, where you have to do soul management, especially if you have Orgeyser, because Orgeyser is fantastic as the go-to first stride, because you're gaining advantage. It's just you lose the soul, so assuming your Judge Bout died, you're gonna have to howl it back, and it just gets a little sad from there if you want to use the Dark Heart skill, if you really need it. And then there's the one Grim Recruiter, because at least you can get a free grade 1 if you hit it, depending on your soul management. If you can manage or can't manage it well enough and you can't afford to Orgeyser, then you just go into him and try to get pressure that way, and plussing that way instead of the guaranteed plus of Orgeyser. And then the one Madu, because you're running Legion, and Madu plays are pretty nutty when you're in Legion, because getting a free grade 3 back to either re-Legion or something later, or stride later, or just having that extra rear guard can change the game. And that's basically an entire deck. I'm gonna be honest, I would not advise this deck competitively. It's not worth the money. I mean, if you already dished out enough for the PBAs and have more spare money, you can try it out, but it's really not worth dropping the extra money on PBDs. The price is way too high for what the card does, especially for the Abyss deck. Drag Ruler might be another story, but for right now, it's really not worth spending your money on, and I would suggest not buying them. And that's the deck profile. See you guys later.